Welcome back to my channel. My name is Stacey Flowers. I am a student of Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University, and I am on a journey to become 100% debt-free. My current debt is $79,700. I'm rounding to the nearest whole dollar, and I'm on baby step number 2 to repay all of my debts. In this video, I'm going to be going over my budget report card for the month of April 2021. So if you are interested in that, please keep watching. Okay, so I'm super pumped about doing a budget report card. I feel like I haven't done one of these in a year, and the budget report card is actually really important to the debt journey because it gives me a focus and an accountability. And at the top of this month, when I was doing the budget for April, a wonderful human being from the community reminded me that I needed to bring my priorities top of mind. And one of the ways that I'm able to do that and I'm able to track that is by reviewing what I did with my money over the month. So that's what this is. And you guys know money is more than just dollars and cents. So I have a couple of reflection questions before I throw you over my shoulders so you can see exactly what my dollars and cents did this month. So my first reflection question is, what am I grateful for in the month of April? And I would say the 3 things that I'm grateful for in the month of April. The first thing that I'm grateful for is my personal trainer. So many of you guys know I started going back to training. I stopped because we were in the middle of a global pause and I was just concerned with health and whatnot. But I went back at the end of January. No. Was it the end of I think the end of January, February, something like that. I went back and completely fell back in love with like being in the gym. And I was like, holy smokes, I forgot how amazing it is. And the trainer that I have this time, she is incredible. My former trainer was awesome. This trainer is incredible. Like I'm so grateful to be able to have somebody think about my body for me and then tell me to do exercises to maximize the way that my body is going to look, and then ultimately how that trickles down into the way that I feel and, you know, into just what I'm able to do with my life. And I went into my trainer with the same goals that I had with my other trainer, which is strength, stamina, and sculpting. I want more stamina. As a professional speaker and even as a life coach, there's a lot of energy, stamina work that is involved, or energy that's involved. And in order to be able to work with a bunch of clients, in order to be able to, you know, inspire 1,000 people, in order to be able to do the work of using your words to transform other people's lives, you just have to have a really good handle on your energy and you have to have a lot of stamina. And so the exercises that we're doing to build up my endurance so that I can go and I can move through a full day, I'm just like, holy fazolies, right? And then I also wanted to get stronger, and like I'm stronger now. Like even when I'm like carrying my groceries or I'm carrying something, you know, it's like I'm like, look at there. It's just the most wonderful feeling in all the land. And the same thing with sculpting, just getting my body back to its like optimal form, and like, you know, like it's just the best feeling in all the land. So I'm super grateful for my trainer in the month of April. And I'm also grateful that rather than not paying for training last year because we were in the global pause, I just kept letting it get charged. So now that I'm in this year, I don't have any expenses related to that. And so I'm able to just really just go in and work really hard, and I'm loving it. If you guys are interested in more stuff about training, I share every time I go to the trainer on my Instagram. So those videos are there. I'm also really grateful this month for my therapist. This was a really big month for me in my business, and so in it being a big month in my business, all my stuff came up. And one of the things that I'm noticing around therapy, and one of the things that my therapist brought to my attention, because I have been feeling a little bit not awesome for a while, and I kept going to my therapist. I was like, you know, maybe I'm depressed, maybe I'm, you know, like, and I kept trying to tell her, I was like, something is wrong with me, and she kept saying, you know, nothing is wrong with you, like nothing's wrong, you're good to go. And so I kept thinking, okay, she's been working with me for all these years, she knows that nothing is wrong with me. And a couple of sessions ago we were talking, and one of the conversations that we was having, she had made mention, she was just like, you know, you do understand that you have complex PTSD. And I was just like, yeah, you know, that's what we're healing, that's what we're working on. She was just like, yes, but do you understand that like you have this? And I'm like, yeah, like, of course, that's what we're working. She was just like, she was just like, what's been happening over the, the last few months or so? She's like, I'm sensing that, like, you haven't accepted that, like, you're living with complex PTSD. Like, and it was like this aha moment of like realizing that in my mind, even though I had accepted that, like, I've experienced trauma and, I had, like, in my mind, I'm like, I have experienced trauma, but the way that I was organizing, it's like, that's in the past. It's not now. Like, I'm not experiencing trauma now, so I'm fine. And I had organized it in a way of like, there is healing that will happen to the degree where I don't have to manage this thing. And one of the things that came up, because a lot of my trauma is triggered when I'm happy and when I'm at peace and when I'm enjoying myself, which I know is kind of ironic, but when there's peace, we'll talk about this in another video, but the point of the matter is, such a good year in business means more peace and joy, like, right? Like, my personal life is going well. Like, it's all this harvest and beauty and bounty in my life. And I am over here like freaking out about it because it's triggering so much of, earlier childhood traumas and stuff like that. And so when I was talking to my therapist, she just did a really good job helping me to understand that, like, it's not something to get rid of. It's something to understand so that I can live well with it. And that is a massive, huge thing that I'm trying to wrap around my mind. But, had it not been for her, I 1,000% would have sabotaged the success that my company brought in this month, the end of last month, over this month. So I'm super grateful for her for that. And then I'm also really grateful for this community. You guys are amazing. The last video that I put up about the feelings that I'm having, any video that I put up in general, you guys are always very, very kind. But that one in particular, I didn't really know how people were going to respond to that, because you guys have been watching me build up to this place. And for me to get to this place and to not immediately have positive feelings, I just didn't know how that was going to go over in the community. And you guys just warmed all the pieces of my heart. Like, it's like, I'm so grateful to be surrounded virtually by such amazing, kind, loving, generous human beings who, even if you can't relate, you seek to understand. That is, now about to have me cry on here. That is so rare, that if somebody can't relate to what you're saying, they still try to understand. We're gonna move on so I'm not on here crying, but I just want you guys to know that, like, I really, really appreciate you guys just giving me the understanding of that. Okay. I can't even see because my eyes are watering and I got on contacts. Hold up. Okay. I'm really grateful. That's the point of that there. I can't see anything. Gotta let it. Okay. So the next question is, what worked this month? So the thing that worked, there was two things. The big thing that worked was sharing my feelings, because I think sharing my feelings with you guys helped me and you guys to understand, in terms of content, that's why it's not there, because I don't feel safe. I don't feel secure. Like, I don't, and even though it's happening, like, in my mind, it doesn't mean that it's not happening, right? But I think sharing my feelings and having so many people have such a positive experience, and, even out of that, there's another business coach that I'm going to be working with. I'm going to be transitioning from the business coach that I've been working with for, I think, the last 2 years. So there's been a lot of really great things that came out of that. So I think that that's definitely something that worked this month. And then, again, someone in the community had made mention that I needed to reset my priorities. So every day I was asking myself, like, what are my priorities, so that I can organize the way that I was spending. So those two things worked this month. What didn't work this month, there wasn't anything specific that didn't work. I don't feel like I was too far outside of my budget or too far into my budget. I think generally with the income increase, the thing that doesn't work is not doing a budget report card. Like, these just need to be done until I'm debt free, no matter how much money I'm making, because it really does support a level of accountability that I want and need. And then the next question is, what do I need to start doing? The budget report cards. I think that that's just something I need to start doing. And then what do I need to stop doing? The two things that I need to stop doing is, I need to stop under budgeting for my personal, like, pleasures or my personal wants and desires. So, like, clothes or getting my nails done or personal hygiene. I just need to stop under budgeting for that, because psychologically, like, what's happening is when I'm bringing in $20,000 and I'm hesitating to spend $40 on myself, that is causing an inner battle that does not make any sense whatsoever. And so it's almost like I'm beating up on myself in a way that is completely unnecessary. And I think if I just loosen the purse strings a little bit in the budget, then I wouldn't do that. And then in me not doing that, I wouldn't like rebel in my own finances. So I think I just need to be a lot more honest with myself about what I want to do with my increased income while I'm still on this journey, and then just allowing my wants to be presented to me on the paper. I just think that that's just going to be something that's really important. And then the other thing, and I haven't finalized this just yet, I'm still sort of thinking about this, but I think the other thing that I need to stop doing is paying child support, which is very intense for me. But I do think that maybe paying child support is an attempt for me to hold on to the idea that my human being is still a child. And he is not. He is in college, fully functioning adult, and I need to accept this new season of my life as an empty nester. And it is a very, very hard thing. So one, from the perspective of accepting this new season of my life as an empty nester, but also from the perspective of respecting my son's father and my son, and not trying to financially make up for seasons when I didn't have finances. Like, that is a very sort of unhealthy thing to do. And I don't think that that's something that I was consciously doing. But I think in practice, in application, that's a little bit how it's showing up. And so I think I need to stop doing that. But again, that's a very tough decision to make, because I don't understand my new role as a mom. Like, I don't know how to organize myself around my son. Like, I don't know how to explain this to people who are not experiencing empty nest syndrome, but it's like suddenly you just, I don't know. So that's something that I need to stop doing. What is my intention for the month of May? My intention for the month of May is I want to do a series called Everyday May. It's by Alana Davison. She's the only other person I think on YouTube that I've seen do it, and they just put up a piece of content every day in the month of May. I would like to do that for the month of May. The reason why this intention is important to me is because I believe that this community is super fantastic and amazing, and you guys have done an incredible job holding me accountable, and you've done an incredible job motivating me, and this is sort of something that I want to offer and give back to you all. Obviously I love doing the videos and doing all of this stuff too, but I think the challenge of trying to participate in a challenge called Everyday May will help me to be able to, you know, get something out there. So those are my reflections. Without further ado, I'm going to throw you over my shoulder and we are going to take a look at my dollars and cents. All right, so here we go. This is for the month of April, and I plugged the numbers in from the Budget With Me Live, and you guys can see I have the green check, so it is an every dollar budget, which means it is zero based. Business A, revenue was $20,000. Revenue was $20,000. No gifts, no business B, income. So here we go. So in giving, my tithes that I set aside were $2,000. I spent $2,000. Child support that I had set aside was $2,000, but you guys can see here it's not clicked because I did not send that yet, because I want to finalize my decision before I continue doing that. I did not add any additional money to my emergency fund, which for those of you guys that don't know, my emergency fund is sitting at $1,000 right now per the Dave Ramsey Financial Peace University baby step plan. My rent is $937. You will see that I budgeted $75 for electricity, but I went over by $18, because I think with the electricity it's much higher, because now that my apartment is more decorated, I'm actually running more things like my air conditioner, my air purifier, a TV, lamps galore, stuff like that just really wasn't running before. I know that is, I mean, for me, that's still a big leap, but that's the number. So I want to share with you what I spent. Paid my gas, my second gas, $25.25, and then you guys know that this month I talked about adding my dog feed. My dog feed was $350, so that was paid as well. When we come down to groceries, this really surprised me that for the whole month I only spent $382, which I tried and I think the $100 a week is going to work. It may be more like $75 a week. But it's funny how I tried so hard to do the $100 a week and then I ended up coming under budget, versus when I didn't even think about it as $100 a week, but I was always going over budget. So I like the concept of $100 a week. I may change it to $75 a week just to keep it a little bit closer so I'm not so under, but it's nice to be under budget on the food budget, and to still feel like I'm eating enough for the amount of time that I'm going to the gym and walking and so on and so forth. Transportation, literally did not do a single Uber in the month of April, which is like mind-blowing. Either I walked everywhere or someone came to pick me up, which is just fascinating that that's how my life is showing up. Because I mean, I would have thought that at least 1 or 2 times, but nope. My life insurance $26.50, my health coverage of $150, and my renter's insurance of $575, which next month that will be changing because my puppy is going to be put on my renter's insurance. So you guys will see that reflected. Then we go down for therapy. I went to therapy twice this month. And so that was $140 to $140. I was going to send my laundry out, like my coats and just sweaters and just different things like that, to be cleaned for storage. But if anybody's living in the city of Chicago, you guys know some days we had snow, some days we had sun. So the season hasn't really fully clicked over just yet. So I didn't feel good about sending out those coats and stuff like that to get cleaned for storage just yet. Ideally, I'll probably do that this month. This money is still in my account, so it will be reflected. I don't know if it'll be reflected on the next budget or if I'll just pull it from what I was supposed to do here. I kind of want to see it on the next budget so that way I know that I'm doing it. But I don't know. I'll have to think through that when I get ready to do my budget with me live. So that's why my laundry is at 0. Puppy training, food, etc. So puppy training was going to be $600 to get started. And I was sending my puppy to a boarded training school. So he's basically going to boarding school. However, that boarding program was 6 weeks, and that's a lot of time to be away from my puppy. So I'm not going to go with that boarding school. I'm going to go with a 3-week program, and that will be reflected in next month's budget. And then this $620 that would have been spent there, like I'll just carry it over. So I don't know how I'm going to reflect the things that carry over just yet, but I didn't, I changed my mind at the last minute when I was like, 6 weeks. And yes, I could have like popped in to see the puppy and stuff like that, but it's like in a suburb. So the chances of me like popping into a suburb, like that's not a thing. And this boarding school is 3 weeks, and I can handle 3 weeks of like not being able to see the puppy, but 6 weeks, probably not. Tips, I ended up doing a lot of the shopping myself, so I didn't need to use as much of the tip money as well, instead of getting as many of my groceries delivered as I normally do. So I spent $78 in tips. Instacart $9.99, Disney Plus $8.99, Apple $10.69, Amazon Prime $12.99. So all that worked. My dental work, my dentist appointment is May 3rd. So that is the reason why I haven't spent any money out of the dental budget. However, when I made my appointment and we followed up, they give you like all of the estimates and stuff like that. And right now, my dental estimate is actually coming up to $1,711. So it looks like I will be under budget. Obviously, I can go, they can get in there. There could be more stuff. So I'm going to keep the $2,500 as planned. But there's a good chance that I'm going to be significantly under budget on my dental budget, which is good. I will drop that right into my my budget for glasses and contacts and stuff like that. Because again, my appointment for that is at the first week, which I didn't think it was going to take a month to get into the dentist or the eye doctor. But I highly underestimated how many people are who like my dentist and eye doctor. So that's why it's showing 0, because I just haven't spent that money in this month, but in a couple of days I'll be doing that. And then you will see shopping. Originally I had set aside $103.09. The odd $3.09 is just because I wanted my budget to get to zero, but ultimately there's a mental note of like spending $100. I ended up spending $716.85. And this is an example of what I mean, where instead of me being like, oh, I'm not going to buy myself anything this month, I know I made $20,000, but I'll be fine. That is not a real life thing. That's not going to happen. Psychologically, I cannot wrap my mind around that. And if anybody has any suggestions, please leave them in the comments. But again, what happens psychologically is like, you just made $20,000 and you're not gonna buy us, like, you were like, and it would be different if it was like, oh, you made $20,000 and you didn't put anything in debt, and you did, but it's like, no, I'm putting half my income on debt and living fairly conservative everywhere else, and I'm not gonna get these clothes that I want. I don't understand. So if you guys have any suggestions, I'm open to feedback, comments in the you can let me know in the comments. But that's sort of how that went. But I want to do a better job of reflecting that truth in the budget instead of coming back and being like, oh, I went over budget by $600. Like, that's a significant amount to go over budget. Then I didn't budget anything for toiletries. And then also you guys will see nails. I ended up getting my nails done. So actually, if you add those together, I basically spent $800 on myself that I did not plan in my budget. Now, $800 relative to my income, the drop in the bucket. But $800 not budgeted and planned for is a problem, right? Like, it's a lie, right? It's like I'm lying to myself, and that doesn't make any sense for me to be lying to myself. Or, I mean, not necessarily lying to you guys. It wasn't my intention to do that, but like, it's like, does that make sense? How, like, I need to know that, like, I'm gonna spend $1,000 on myself uninhibited, and be okay with that. At the end of the day, I'm obviously not okay with that because I'm doing it like after the fact. Because if I was okay with it, I would just be like, yeah, $1,000 on myself, but I'm not okay with it, and I need to become okay with it. So, because I mean, $800 is never okay to randomly spend $800. Well, that's not fair. It is. I don't feel comfortable spending $800 unexpectedly, right? So that can be cleaned up. And then last but certainly not least, I just broke the $9,060.33 and $939.67 equals $10,000. When I pay my student loan, they are together, so they don't separate it like this, but just for the purposes of how it shows up on this format, I just wanted to break the numbers out so you could see. I mean, I could have did 5 and 5, but I don't know. That's just how that added up. So that is how I spent this month. I would say, again, because I'm $800 over budget in a category that I didn't even plan for, that automatically prevents me from being able to get an A, because $800 over budget is not okay. I understand that I'm $18 over budget on the electricity. You know, that's not that bad, but $800 over budget automatically brings me to a B. I feel really good about the numbers, and even some of the places where I feel good about being under budget in some of the places, but at the same time, I don't feel good about that because it just means I'm not being as clear, right? Like, so being under budget seems like a good thing because there's money in the bank, but it's also an indication that I'm not as clear with where my money is going. And a lot of that, I think, is just because I have so much more money to think about and think about where it's going. So it's not terrible, but given the $800 over budget, I'm at a B. And then given the amount of categories where I'm under budget, I'm going to give myself a B minus, because again, the purpose of a budget is just to decide ahead of time what I want my money to do. And I want more confidence in that area. And moving through this quarter, I want to by the end of this quarter to be very, very confident and very, very clear. So that is what I did with my money this month, and I feel really good about it. So let's see. So I spent $15,000. Oh, sweet baby Jesus, that's so much money. That's so much money. That is so much money. Like, I understand that I spent $10,000 on debt, but like, holy smokes. Like, just imagine spending $15,000 in a single month. I need a glass of water. This is a lot. So, okay, I gotta get off here. That's I shouldn't have clicked that button. And obviously I was gonna spend an additional $5,000, but like, you know, my dentist appointment just happens to not be in the month. I mean, it's just, that is intense. It's so intense, but put my money where I wanted it to go. So all is well. All is all is well. Thank you so much for watching. I will talk to you all next time. Bye.